Well, hello. Welcome to another episode of NESmories. I'm your host, Miketendo. And today, we're going to talk about something it is a memory. It is. But it's a little later in life, as opposed to most of my NESmories, which have been, the PlayStation era and earlier. This one's going to be a little bit later. This one's going to be college era. Now, I was in college in the early to mid to / late 2000s. I went part-time for a little bit. So I remember living on campus and we had a great time. I lived with a friend of mine and, we played games all the time and, we spent way too much time wasting, precious moments on gaming and hanging out and just being friends with all of our friends and stuff than actually doing schoolwork. So that was a pretty big problem. And you make mistakes and you learn from them, and that's just part of getting older. So I made a lot of mistakes in college, but one thing I cannot deny is we had a blast. This one time I had gone on a date with somebody, and her and I went out. I can't remember what we did. I think we hung out. We went to play pool or something. I can't remember what we did. Bottom line is, ended up going back, and my roommate was out, I think, with his at the time girlfriend. So I was like, well, what else am I gonna do? So I overheard a lot of really loud music, but really ambient, quiet, creepy music. And I was like, that's coming from my neighbor's dorm room. And so I had a buddy of mine, his name was Chuck, and he lived next door to me. And our other friend was named John, who was this little Asian guy. He was awesome. And he was visiting Chuck. So they were hanging out, and we were just, I knocked on the door, and the door was kind of half open. So I was like, what are you guys doing here? And they're like, oh, we're playing Silent Hill 2. It just came out. Silent Hill 2. It had just come out, so we said, hey, let's pop this bad boy in. So he had already been playing actually for a while. So I kind of walked in the middle of things, and I was like, so is this like Resident Evil? He's like, yeah. So we sit down and we're playing, and I'm like, you can't really see anything. He's like, yeah, well, it's really dark and really creepy and everything. So he's like, close the door. So we close the door. And I'm like, why don't you close the shades, get it, nice and ambient. So he closes the shades. This game scared the out of me. I mean, wow. Seriously. The only other game that I've ever been that scared at was probably Resident Evil 2, when the liquor pops out the window. That was a pretty jumpy moment for me. But Silent Hill 2 just to me redefined horror games, and it was really cool and awesome, and it was fun watching. I didn't even have to play. I just loved to watch other people play this game, because I was no good at it. Honestly, I've tried to pop this sucker in, multiple times, and try to get through it, and honestly, I have more fun watching other people play Silent Hill 2. It's a cool game. It's awesome. I suck at it. So, anyways, story is completely embarrassing, by the way. So we're hanging out. He's playing, and John and I are watching. And then I think at one point John picked up the controller and he starts playing. So I didn't play. I just watched. I was like, whatever. And we ended up staying up till probably about almost 5 in the morning. At that point, I don't think my roommate came home that night, so I had the place all to myself. Whatever, you get cozy, comfy. So I was like, all right, I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna go to bed. So I go back to my dorm, which is only right next door, and I take my pants off, and I'm just like, all right, whatever. Sit down at the desk there, and I noticed that one of my action figures fell down. I had a Jill Valentine, the old school Resident Evil figure, and it had fallen. It fell over. So I picked her up. I started messing with her legs or whatever. And John Sam busts in the room and goes, So I'm sitting there in my underwear with Jill Valentine in my hand, spread eagled, and I was just like, and he goes, "I caught you playing with your dolls again, didn't I?" And I'm like, "I wasn't playing with my dolls!" So, and then he slams the door and leaves, and I was pretty embarrassed. So that's my NESmories story for today. Again, Silent Hill 2. If you haven't played this one, check it out. It's really cool, but I suck at it. That's it. Hope you enjoyed this episode of NESmories. Episode, I don't even know, like 8, 9, whatever we're at. Who knows? It's awesome. I'm having fun talking about all these wacky stories related to video games. Like the video, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Sounds good to me. And I will see you guys on the flip side. Peace.